this would not be possible without you guys, so I appreciate it. You know, I am a big movie and television binge watcher, and resting and recovering for the last couple of weeks, I've watched a lot. My favorite, I'm going to say, is Sacrifice on BET Plus. You cannot have a show right now without a badass black woman running things. I mean, it can happen. So Daniela is an entertainment lawyer, and spoiler alert, let me tell you, it's got the typical sex and drugs and murder and violence. It's got all of that in it, but it's something that you can't turn off. You got to keep watching it and keep getting better and better and better. And I think it's time for season 2 because it really was a good show. Her outfits were amazing. I would have worn every last one. They looked like they cost some money. It made her look even more important. I love the outfits. Her assistant, Tamika, she was a badass girl too. She set that policeman up because he was trying to trap her and trick her. But it's on BET Plus with Paula Patton. I like that. They had everybody in there. Clifton Powell been the bad guy in every movie I've ever watched since 1993, I think it has. He been in everything. Y'all need to give him his flowers while he's alive. So I'm giving the flowers for Clifton Powell. I like the show that I watch on Netflix, True Story with Kevin Hart, Wesley Snipes. And I think it's a true story for everybody because Kevin Hart's character was really successful, and his older brother was always taking money from him, which is Wesley Snipes, was always using him. And I guess because his loyalty to them or his loyalty to his family, he was always doing it and being there. And in the end, it almost cost him his career and everything that he had worked hard for. And he had a fan, a very loyal, devoted fan that supported him, loved him, and cared about him more than his own flesh and blood. And because of how toxic Wesley Snipes' character was, he set up his own brother to be his downfall over some money. And he killed he had the biggest fan killed. And even at the end, when they were killing his loyal fan, Gene, he was still taking up and trying to cover up for Kevin Hart because he was loyal to him. And his brother still wasn't. So, spoiler alert, Kevin Hart's character killed Wesley Snipes' character. And I feel like he was pressed to do it. Like if he hadn't done it, he would never get off from up under his brother. Cardi B is having one hell of a year this year. She had a baby, she won some more awards. Now she is the creative resident director over the Playboy franchise. So that's big, and if anybody's winning, it's Cardi B. So Cardi B, can you invest in my business if you see this? Interesting news that I want to share. I watched a video of the high school shooting in Oxford, and a lot of questions were raised for me. One being, what kind of fool goes into a high school and shoots innocent, unarmed kids? That's my first question. And discuss. What happened was they locked the classroom, and he was opening the door, and he said, I'll show you my badge, bro. And from that, they knew he wasn't a real police officer. And so they didn't open the door, they went out the window. They were prepared, which is terrible to think that you have to prepare a kid for a shooting in their high school. But they had a plan, they were prepared. When he knocked on the door and they wouldn't open it, they jumped out the window. As a black female, I'm thinking, if someone says they're law enforcement and we don't open the door, we can be killed because we are disobeying a command by an officer of the law. But if we do open the door, we're still dead. So, as a black person, what do you do? I am disobeying the command, so I can be in trouble. I mean, like it's like a lose-lose situation, but they knew how to, I guess, they were trained, so they were prepared, and it saved their lives. Now he did, and I do want to send prayers out to the kids that were involved because they're going to need counseling. The ones that the lives were lost, I think it was 4 lives lost and 7 or 8 injured. So that is devastating enough, but to think about every day you send your child to school, you're trusting that they're going to make it home safe, and then you hear about something like that. So for me, there's nowhere safe to send them. I'm praying for everybody involved in the shooting, and it seems like every day something is happening. I saw a post online where a mother was killed 3 days after her son at his memorial site. I don't know who's raising these animals. Like, why would you be shooting at a place that you, like, why are you just shooting? Like, are you really trying to do population control? If we killing everybody off, who's left? Not to mention, young Dolph killed in Memphis. To me, it's one of those things where maybe you can't go back to the old neighborhood once you become successful because you're a target. But if you keep killing the ones that's coming back supporting the neighborhoods, who's left? Because it's hard to get support in the neighborhoods, and then when you get it, it's a danger. Or in order to try to support, you have to be careful because you may be killed. It's a strange world we're living in. Even I think Jacqueline Avant, she was 81, and she was murdered in her own home during an aggravated robbery. 81 years old, and to think there's probably a million things that could take you out between 0 and 81, but to be violently murdered at 81, to me, is so senseless, it's so sad, violence. So there's a never-ending circle of gun violence, and it won't stop. I don't know the answer. Mental health is defined as a person's condition with regard to their physiological and emotional well-being. I want you to introduce yourself and tell me what it is you do outside of this, your whole life. Not everything.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Carolyn Burton Bolden, boom, 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 married. And outside of this, I'm a grandmother and a mother and wife and pet owner. Just having fun, right? And friend, I guess, right? But really, this is the main thing I do. I also teach fitness classes as well. But I'm retired, so I'm enjoying life and really enjoying teaching mental health first aid.
And Miss Monica Burke is, y'all are old friends. Okay. Introduce yourself, please.
Okay, my name is Monica Burke, and what I do outside of this, I work for an insurance company, which I've been working for the insurance industry for the past 30 years. I really do enjoy teaching this class, and I sponsor the CHI Memorial Hospital, and so I'm very appreciative to them because they offer this class free of charge.
And speaking of this class, I want you to tell us what the class is. Let's start out with the class.
Okay, so the class is called Mental Health First Aid. So it's a class that teaches you how to identify, understand, and how to respond to a person that may be having a mental health or a substance misuse challenge.
Okay, and what are some of the things that you provide in the class?
So the class teaches you how to identify. First of all, We don't diagnose in the class. It just teaches you to notice that a person that may be, say for an example, a person that may be upbeat most of the time, such as Carol, and then all of a sudden she's quiet. So you're like, Carol is not her usual self. So you start noticing changes in her moods, changes, you know, if she's really, really sad for 2 weeks or longer, you start noticing things like that. So then how do you respond to her? So it teaches you how to understand what mental health is and that it is an illness. It's not just, you know, sometimes people say snap out of it. It's not that easy.
So I want to say this first of all, we teach mental health first aid. And so we don't treat, as Monica said, we don't diagnose, nor do we treat. But we are trained, and we train people to notice those signs and symptoms, like you not wanting to come out, being withdrawn, and just sometimes it's your appearance. Whatever you know is not the norm for that person when it's off, but you know is the norm for the person when it's off. As mental health first aiders, you just start to notice those things, and we're taught how to approach you in a non-judgmental way, and to listen non-judgmentally, and to encourage you to get the help that you need. And you know, this class teaches you what to say. It teaches you how to approach you.
What's the class, the format of the class? Like, you said the in-person, so is there, how long is the class? Like, per class?
It's only one class that you take as instructor-led, so 2 hours pre-work, online pre-work, then 5.5 hours instructor-led in 1 day. And you're certified as a mental health first aider for 3 years.
And I think what everybody needs to hear, how much is the class?
Want to say that together?
Free.
Great sponsor, CHI Memorial Hospital.
And we like, everybody like free.
Yes.
Everybody does. And so how do we register for the class?
You would, I will leave your flyer here today too, but the email address is MHFA, as in mental health first aid, chat, CHATT, @gmail.com. Email us at that email address and tell us you're interested in the class, we can give you the schedule.
Do you have upcoming classes?
I do. We have a class on December 21st, it's not quite full, and then several in January.
And we do offer the class, as Carol had said earlier, virtual. So we are getting participants from all over the United States. I mean, California, New York. So when we talk, you know, when we teach the class, we really don't have as many people from Chattanooga. They're from all over.
Yeah. I didn't realize it wasn't just Chattanooga based.
We had a man from Greece to write us. And this program is in 25 countries. Greece is just not one of them. And he wanted to get into the class as well. And so that's the reason I was excited, Shasta, when you talked about putting it on your show, because we have a heart for really wanting to reach the underserved communities and those that may not know about it. You know,
There are a lot of us, because I had no idea about, and even now, it's like, why did we always start something like this?
marginalized and underserved communities just don't always get the information about what's available. And so we're excited about you having us here to talk about it.
And everything taught in this class is evidence-based. It has been tried and it's true. So, and they're constantly updating the curriculum and things as things change. Like for an example, last year, in the last year and a half going through the pandemic, you know, that really put everybody in a very unusual circumstances. And let me just tell you one other thing that really kind of shocked me with the training. What do you think, how many years do you think from the onset of a mental health challenge or substance misuse and that person on average here in the United States of getting help, what that time frame may be? Just a guess.
I'm gonna say 2 years.
Okay, 2 years, that's a good guess. It's between 10 and 30 years before, on average, that is if they ever get help, on average. But think in those 10 to 30 years, all those unhealthy habits that a lot of self-medication, you do things because everybody want to feel better. So if that's taking illegal drugs, if that's, medication, or if it's alcohol or whatever they're,
Sometimes overworking,
yes,
doubling and working, never pulling up or seeing their family, whatever it is.
right. It could be a number of things, whatever your thing to go to is. So it's really needed. And I just want to encourage how, especially Chattanooga, with CHI Memorial Hospital offering this class free of charge, because normally it's about $175 to $200 to take the course, because the manuals and everything are so expensive. We give those to you free of charge. So it's a really good program.
I said 2 years, and you said that's a good guess. It was nowhere near.
Well, people don't realize that sometimes people don't ever get help,
Right.
and so they suffer.
So you listen to the person, this first aid, I would be there for you, to help you to get to the help you need.
Right.
Just like CPR, I'm not taught how to perform heart surgery, but I can keep you alive until
Right.
appropriate help is available. You would learn in the class how to approach the individual.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What to say, how to say it, your body language, all of that can impact, talking to that individual. So it's to get you comfortable with what to say to that person, what not to say. Say positive things and not negative. And as Carol just said, non-judgmental.
Right. Because nobody wants to feel like you're being judged on top of everything else that you're going through. So is this like in place of the hotline crisis, or is it just still like a middle? Like, would you refer somebody to the hotline crisis?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So it doesn't replace any type of treatment option.
Okay. Because I know now they're doing it so, they're making it so accessible. Like they have counselors and therapists that you can do via Zoom and online. So now it's even more available for us.
Now, and everybody has to get to that point. So now, as easily as this person would say that I take XYZ for blood pressure medicine, I'm so open to say I take paroxetine to manage my depression, yes. And that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to break that stigma so that the conversation around mental health isn't so uncomfortable and taboo. Or like you said, looking at a person as crazy.
Right.
We really, really in our class talk about the language, and it's not just in lectures, just was actually practice, so that they're pretty comfortable talking with someone about issues.
And the other thing too is it helps you to understand the mental health of what a person is going through. It's not like, it could be a chemical imbalance, it could be a number of things that's causing that person to have that illness, whatever that illness may be. But heck, once you can understand what a person is going through, I think that's going to help you, be non-judgmental.
This first responders, first aid, it sounds like something that every company, every business, every entrepreneur, everybody should go through this, not just so you can recognize the signs in your employees or maybe in your partner, or so you can at least be able to be aware of some signs, because everybody knows when you're working for or working in an environment, any work environment is stressful. And having this training, I think would be helpful for businesses and things like, so I think.
Absolutely. We have school teachers that are signing up for the training of an adult version and a youth version, where adults are taught to help youth recognize signs and symptoms in youth. And we've trained some of the businesses around here in the Chattanooga area. So you're absolutely right. It is crucial that it's really important that they have that training.
I just wanted to add to that, it's not just the businesses, it's anybody.
Right.
If you have that training just with your family or your individual household, would be good to have that knowledge so that if you notice that your daughter or son is acting a little different than they usually act, then it may be time to take some steps or to be concerned that there's something deeper going on.
I've had conversations with parents who told me that they thought that their children participated. And because they didn't know it, even think that it may have been something mentally wrong with the person. And they went through childhood and adolescence and they were wrong before they realized, this child has been getting all these spankings, really couldn't help it, that there was something going on that they didn't know about.
So I told my kids the other day, y'all make up instructions.
Right.
And then I'm having one that has a serious illness. That definitely doesn't come with instructions. So we are winging it every day pretty much. So when we think that they're bad, I don't think we think that they're bad, it's just that sometimes we overlook some things. And I don't blame a parent just for what not knowing. So
Because parents have so many roles and so many hats, and we have in our minds the upbringing that we had, right? Our background. And so we only know so much.
I really appreciate you two beautiful ladies for taking your time out, coming. I cannot thank you guys enough, especially you, because the first day you opened up your home to me and my family.
And it's still open. That invitation is still open.
And we come.
Okay.
We are definitely coming. So I have something for you two ladies. If you just turn out for just a minute.
Back in that email address again.
Please do.
It's MHFA is in mental health first aid chat, CHATT, 2 T's, @gmail.com. We'll send you a class schedule and get you registered, and it is free. And it's so needed.
I want to thank my very special guests, Miss Monica and Miss Carolyn and Boom Boom. Is that what you said? Boom Boom. They were really sweet. They were really informative, well educated on the mental health first aid, which is something we all need. And I am even going to look up and see about joining the next class that they have open and available. So I'd like to thank them. I'd like to thank you all for coming and spending this time with me. But I also want to say, I thank the people. I had a birthday since we last recorded. I had a hard month of November. Really kicked my ass, but it kicked me into shape. So I had a birthday since then, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that spent time and celebrated the birthday. You spent money. If you brought a gift, this all could not be possible without you, because those gifts allowed me to continue to follow in my dream. This is my dream, and so I'd like to say thank you, and I appreciate all my friends.